Something that for us was a relatively low cost had ripples that we couldn't foresee. And those ripples keep creating value even now after the formal part of the program has ended. So I would say consider that. How do we build in a consideration where you add in an intervention, and how do you ensure that you can kind of keep a track of where the ripples go? Because we always have that challenge of attribution as an AHSN. What investment are we putting in, and how do we measure the value that comes out of that? And I think that's a challenge, but also an exciting challenge.
The patients want it. We're just limited by what we think we can achieve. Go and try it. The patients will adopt it. It's about bringing your colleagues with you on that journey rather than getting the patients to actually use what you offer them.
I mean, yes, signposting from reception, from on the phones, have messages on the opening answer phone, all things like that we've advised or sort of, put to the surgeries to do, can either be taken up by them or not. I mean, it's a choice, but if you don't really go with it, the benefit of doing that, even if it takes a little bit longer on the phone at the beginning, the rewards later on with that person next time, I forgot I could do that online. I mean, for me, the demand will be held. The access will become great for the people who actually need to use it.
If you've got a project idea, no matter sort of how small or large scale it is, I think you've got to be brave with that decision. And it is difficult within the public sector, within the local government as well. Obviously, trying to get something like that implemented, but I think you've got to have the guys behind you and your team, I think, behind you, and obviously the support around you. So the East Anglia Health Site Network have been so supportive of us. We're able to sit down and chat to them at any point. We can have meetings with them and discuss how the project's going, and they'll come up with ideas of actually how we can move it forward, how we can do something different. But they give you the skills, and they'll give you their knowledge, and they'll allow you to go away and deliver it.
There's a bit of fear about the possibilities, or perhaps it's some assumptions that we make. But actually, I think the message I'd give is that people are ready for it. Service users, carers, staff, they're ready, willing, and able to embrace working in digital ways. Much as they've embraced it in all other aspects of their lives, and so we shouldn't shy away from it. We should grasp the nettle and get on with it.
And that preparation time, whilst it's taken longer, has allowed us to reflect on what we're looking at, and has allowed us to do the research, because that all takes time. And I think it's like in the NHS, you always plan for 3 times longer than it should do, because that's just how long things take to get up and running. It's just the nature of the beast. But it has allowed us time to look at the IT issues, to test some equipment out. We need to see what the paramedics think of it, obviously, but it's allowed us to play around with things, set up audit forms. We can adapt those. So yes, it's time is important.
I think small goals is probably the better way forward. So we sort of plans of, by this point we will have this in place, by this point we will have this in place, and really take your time with things. I think is the main issue we found, is if you're trying to push for a service, then you're going to encounter issues.
I think one of the most important things that I would want to share, I think, with other people is that no action is too small, no task is too small, no movement is too small. I think quite often we feel overwhelmed by the size of the task. And I think if we think about digital in the NHS, it's 20-30 years behind the rest of the world in relation to digital, perhaps. We use smartphones for everything in our lives. I can't imagine going into a bank again. But we don't, and when we look at the NHS and we think, it's just too big a task, we can't possibly do this. And I think one of the things that the pioneers have shown, and one of the things that I'd want to relay back to anybody else thinking about, I'd love to do something in my area, or I've got a really great idea, is cut it down into bite-sized chunks, because it is a huge task. There is a lot that we need to do, but actually those small steps make a significant difference. If everybody took one of those small steps, if everybody just did a little bit differently in terms of how they work, and if they took on a project that they might not think will change the world, it just starts to help us build the enthusiasm. It helps us build the momentum around the change that we want to see delivered. So no effort is too small.